Well, load up, folks. It is time for another episode of Audio Umox. I'm Alex.
And I am Brian, and the docking ring is now open.
It is open. Audio Umox is a show about two dudes. One who loves Star Trek Deep Space Nine and loves talking about it and evangelizing it and saying it's the best Trek. And another is...
maybe more of a newbie to the DS9 universe. I watched parts of the show when it originally aired, but missed quite a few, and I'm now getting to know it a lot better and absolutely loving it. So
I found that really nice. It would be a real bummer if you were watching and going, "Oh, crap. I don't."
Not another one.
Yeah.
If they okay, so not to tip my hand,
Sure.
but if they were all this episode, we might.
Yeah, my good friend Brian is alluding to Rivals, the episode we're going to discuss in just a moment. But before we do that, though, however, we've got kind of a big announcement to make here. I need to find my big announcement machine. And so you may recall that if we got to 100 fans on Facebook, we were going to give away a prize. Well, that just got out of control. We've got over 250 friends and fans on Facebook. And
Yes.
So we did a drawing. We just assigned a random number to everybody and did a random number generator. And we have a winner. So, Tim H.
That was not much of a drum roll.
It really wasn't. Oh, no, not again. I hate that thing. Tim H.
Not the rim shot.
Of Sanford, Florida. Congrats on winning this Suitable for Framing, and it should be in our show notes and on the Facebook page. Suitable for Framing photo of Quark, our mascot for the show, basically.
Our namesake.
Coming from the collection, the private collection of Mr.
Brian's archive. Yes. So it was a find from an old Trek convention from many years ago that was a giveaway, and apparently the owner was unwilling to wait in line to get Armin Shimmerman's autograph, but was happy with the publicity photo. So we did the honors and signed it ourselves, and we hope that you will enjoy it in good health. So,
we hope if you do frame it and put it in your special place that you'll take a picture, post it there, Tim. It's coming your way, or it should be by the time you're listening to this. You should have it by now. But it was a pleasure to sign it, and yet we've completely devalued the value of it that it might have had. It's an official Paramount Pictures publicity photo. Either that, or maybe it's not. It might have been one that Armin bought just to go sell his autograph to. You know what I mean?
Right.
But who cares? It definitely did come via a convention, and we've, like I said, ruined it by signing it ourselves. But hey, we never promised you that these were going to be valuable prizes. But guess what?
Right.
We're going to try to do one of these every few months. I don't know. We've got some other items that we're excited to get rid of. To give away. So just definitely keep it right here on the Umox Show to find out about our next one. And don't forget, please, Audio Umox on Facebook. That's the place for, more than daily updates on news, views.
Yeah, birthdays, just some inside story stuff, some archival photos, and those are just fantastic. Yeah. There was one from the original series that it's just a lot of fun. I certainly enjoy going over there and just checking things out. So I hope you all do as well. And as always, invite your friends.
Invite your friends. Invite two friends. Share it.
Invite two friends. And obviously invite friends to download the podcast as well. And also, one last thing, feel free, if you feel led, to send any of your cast-off merchandise. We won't hoard it. We're not trying to build
No.
Some sort of Trek museum of cast-offs. What we will do is use them as merch gifts to our friends.
Yeah, we'll recycle it to you. And it's simple. You can send that care of the home office to our P.O. box like our good friend Mike Finney did.
Finney.
He sent us a copy of the novelization of Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. You can send that to care of our PR firm, AGPR, P.O. Box 902119, Kansas City, Missouri, 64190. And that address is on the Facebook page. Just look in the About section and you'll find it. So, and you don't even have to tell us it's on the way. Just ship it. We check that box a couple or 3 times a week at the least. So that'll be fun. So please do that. Don't forget also, we do have every episode now simulcast, I guess that's the way to put it, on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And I'll try to remember to stick the YouTube channel link into the show notes for this show. But if you can't find it, just Google Audio Hoo-Mons Podcast on YouTube, or you will also find it in the news feed here and there for the Facebook page. So what are we on? How many platforms now? We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and then the podcast is syndicated to 8 or 10 different pod catchers and all sorts of stuff. I think SoundCloud's the one we're not big time on because we'd have to pay extra to do that, which leads me to one last bit of housekeeping. If you would like to donate to the show, there are links pinned to the top of the Twitter page at Hoo-Mons Podcast. It's a link to where you can we'll rattle the tip jar at Quarks. You can put in $1, anything from $1 on up, and just know that it goes through our PR agency's account, but we get the money, and what we use the money for is to promote the show and do some surprises. So, enough about that. Yep. Brian has some big news, though, about probably the biggest Deep Space Nine news in 20 years. So go for it, man.
So this will be the last episode before the airing of what we left behind. That will be, so if you're listening to this, it's now May the 8th. So it's less than a week away. We will be there.
Live and in person.
Live and in person. And both of us will try to make ourselves easy to find. So in a couple ways. One, we will create events for both locations. So if you want to join the event, please do so, and that'll give us a heads up to keep our eyes peeled for you. Make sure that that we find you. We'd love to meet you, shake your hand. Thank you for listening, and if you are willing, we'd love to get your impressions of the documentary. Just a little, 30 seconds or a minute of what you thought, your initial impressions of the show. Right.
And just should add that I don't know if we caught that in the beginning, but you'll be in the suburbs of Chicago.
Correct.
And I'll be in the suburbs of Kansas City. So we will yes. When Brian said we'll post events on the Facebook page, there'll be a Facebook event, one for his location and one for mine, so you know exactly where we'll be. And we would love it if you're definitely going and you bought your tickets like we have. Just let us know you're going. And also on the event page, you'll see something kind of special that it'll make it easy for you to identify us. We're pretty excited about it.
So what we have done, and coming in the future, in the near future, we have endeavored to create an audio Hoo-Mons logo for the podcast.
Yep.
And Alex and I have already created T-shirts. So T-shirts are on the way to us. So we will be wearing brightly colored shirts emblazoned with an audio Hoo-Mons logo.
Right.
And we'll make sure that we put the logo up on our social sites as well, so you know what to look for. But just imagine some big Ferengi ears, some headphones, and 2 turntables and a microphone.
Dude, congrats. It was your design, and we did employ a pro to kind of go in and make it just to kind of
execute it
professionally. But
yeah,
I mean, but Brian's great with the concepts. That's what you do for a living, is you conceptualize things, and then you hand it over to designers who make it sing. And we have a great designer. His name's Jason. He's not a big trekker really, but he's a great guy, and he kind of made it happen. So you're probably thinking, oh, I see. Those are Ipswich clams. No, I'm sorry, wrong movie. You're probably saying, well, how can I get my piece of the Hoo-Mons?
That's right.
Well,
when will my ears, my lobes be rubbed?
Stroke those lobes. Tell you what we're going to do. We will put up a link to some merch that is available from one location, only place you can find it, for now. We're going to probably add like a complete store and everything when we do our website. Oops, did I mention we were going to do a website down the road? We probably are. But until then, we've got an online store where you can get a variety of shirts designed for men or women. You got long sleeve, short sleeve. You got premium tees. You got the kind of the cheaper tees. Anyway, you stickers, phone cases, those little drawstring bags you can take to the gym. We're doing it up. So we're going to have a link here on the Facebook page to the show for that. And if you want to go peruse and understand something, we have to, of course, give a cut to the website that does it. What profits that we get over and above whatever purchase you make go right back into the show.
All right.
And who would not want to be styling with this? And I'll give you a little hint, by the way. If you get this, you get some merch with the logo. And it doesn't have to be a t-shirt. It can be something else, whatever the merch is that you like. And we're thinking about down the road having a contest where, like, whoever this month posted on the Facebook page, let's say the furthest away from United States or the most far-flung picture, or even better, you're wearing some of this gear and you meet somebody from the official
famous
Star Trek universe. You know, we're going to figure out some fun guidelines for posting the pics and rewarding folks for telling everybody that you're loud and proud when it comes to the lobes. So stay tuned for that. And here we go again, Brian. Just like our last episode, we're going on and on about housekeeping stuff, and we're not talking about the dang show.
Yeah. So one last housekeeping. The Tranya. What you got?
I just have one. I have to teach a class in the morning. Every so often I lecture about what I do for a living, and it's not what I do for a living, but I lecture about it. Anyway, so I have to not be hungover. That would help, and not look like I've been run through the ringer. So I'm having one perfect martini. I made it myself. It's just a lovely martini, about 5 ounces of just liquid gold. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. What are you drinking there, buddy?
Nice. I've got a 15-year Dewar's blended Scotch whiskey. Just enjoying that on the rocks.
I like it.
It's simple. You know, after a long day's work, sometimes I don't like having to fight with a drink to make it.
And I can be that way too. I'm with you. I think what was the last week we didn't even talk, Tranya. I don't know if we even
I wasn't even drinking. I think I had an iced tea or something.
I think I had like one little wee dram of scotch or something, but I wasn't feeling it. Right. You know, that's okay. By the way, just so you all know, we're not lushes. We don't drink all the time. But we like to lube up before we lobe up. So
exactly.
All right. So I think that's it. You know, folks, if you're a longtime listener, you know very well that if you didn't hear it or you heard it and you didn't write it down, you can run this back, or very simply, you can look in the show notes, and if it's still not there, between the show notes, between Twitter and the Facebook page in particular, you should be able to find everything you need to know. And if you don't find it and you're still looking and you're frustrated, it's like, I want to buy a t-shirt, but I missed the link. Where is it?
Email us.
You can see, he reads my mind. You can just do one last thing, and that's audioumox@gmail.com. Just send us an email. I'm kind of waiting. We don't get a lot of email there. It's like crickets there, you know. audioumox@gmail.com. And you know, if you just want to email and say hi, we'll say hi back.
Please do. Or send a little audio or greeting or anything like that.
Take your phone and record a memo, and then and just, you know, that'd be so great. It's like, hey, this is Mike from Columbia, Illinois. I'm just wanting to say I love Audio Umox. I lobe up every week, every Thursday, and then just fire that off to us via the Gmail, and we'll put it on the show.
Right. Very good. So, my friend, let's jump into this episode.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, not terribly excited about Rivals.
Yeah.
It's a story, a grifter type, apparently from a semi-empathic
the Elorians
race,
like Guinan,
that are able to get people to share information that they wouldn't share with anyone else, is on the station. Right. So we start with them at, I believe it was at Quark's. They had a little private table, so I wasn't sure if it was at Quark's or at the Replimat. This elderly woman is dishing to this Elorian gentleman about how she's got a potential retirement plan. She's got some information about a mining concern in a asteroid belt. And no sooner does the Elorians, start trying to wedge his way in, Odo shows up, and some people have signed a complaint against this con man, and he's promptly thrown in jail. And that's the story. No, that's not the whole story. in jail, he meets an alien named Kaz. It's an older guy, looks like a cast-off from Cats or an elderly version of the Cowardly Lion, something along those lines. The guy has this small little gambling device. It's just, don't explain how it works. He's got it, and it apparently is this guy's life. It's like me and Candy Crush, and.
By the way, that's kind of prescient that they're like, this guy. He's basically the dopamine hit from hoping to get lucky, and that's very much like a metaphor with smartphones now. But I mean, they had no idea smartphones were coming at this point.
Oh, right? No, absolutely not. But he's got this little small device. You know what it reminded me of? Not the lights, but it reminded me of everlasting gobstoppers from the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Because they were really strange looking.
Yeah, just odd shape, couple things sticking out of them.
I by the way, I found this design terrible, atrocious, not interesting. I don't know if they were trying to go for kind of a bioelectronic look to it or what, but to me it's just like it's a melted pine cone with lights in it. I don't like it.
What are the things that like Pikachu is in? What are those balls called? Or Dragon Ball Z, or where you have the little. I think it was Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, I'm not into that.
You're speaking a language I do not comprehend. I'm sorry.
And the only reason I'm talking about it is because not much here to the episode. So this guy dies
in the jail cell with
in the jail cell.
Mazur or whatever. Who is it? Is it Mazur?
Yeah.
Or Matur? What are we going by? His first or his last name? Mazur. I'll just call him Mazur, right?
Mazur.
Played by Chris Sarandon, an actor that I actually like a lot. But let's go ahead and keep going. We'll talk about him in a little while.
Okay, so anyway, he gets a hold of this thing as they take the dead guy out, and he wins right at first, and then everything starts going his way, and he almost immediately becomes Quark's rival because someone's closing something on the promenade shop, and he uses his con manny abilities, and he opens a rival gambling facility to Quark's, making 4 giant versions of this gambling.
Just replicated it, made it bigger. Right? Yeah.
Right.
Or he rubbed it.
And anyway, so from there things just start going crazy. People are either incredibly lucky or incredibly unlucky,
right.
and things are spinning out of control. But one of those perfect examples is Miles has created. I'm assuming it's a holosuite, but it may be he may have actually built it from scratch. Builds a.
Is it racquetball?
Updated racquetball court.
Yeah,
so it's a different version of racquetball. They increase the complexity by adding, instead of just having, five walls, you have a bunch of different 45-degree angles to increase the complexity of the thing.
And he's excited to get started on it, and then who walks in but skinny Silver Surfer dude,
Bashir.
Yeah. And this is, mind you, before Miles does not like Julian at this point.
Yeah, he's okay with him, but
he doesn't like him. I mean, he tolerates him. He does not like him, though. I mean, let's be clear here.
Yeah, they are they're work associates.
Yeah, and we've all been around that one, right? Where,
sure.
Whether you're a Miles or you're a Julian, you've undoubtedly come across somebody who's your opposite number at work who you would just prefer never to see anywhere but work.
Yes. And Miles he's in his he's in his grubby sweat outfit. He's just wanting to let off some steam.
Right.
Here comes this guy who was he was like the college champion.
Right.
He was,
at the academy.
At the academy, and he's got his 4,000-year-old stretching technique, and he's ready to dive in and really get serious. Where anyway, it doesn't go well for Miles,
and it's not a good look for Bashir.
And he goes home, and he's pardon.
It's not a good look for Bashir. When I think,
although he was kind of stuck. It's you don't want to not play your hardest.
Right.
You don't want to throw the game.
Right.
Because then he'll invariably figure it out.
Sure.
And you don't want to, and then you don't want to just mop the floor with him either. So striking that balance.
Well, and I have to ask you something. Can we stop for a second here? Because where we are, second season. Look, as I say before, if you've not seen this 25-year-old show and you're listening to this podcast and you're mad because I spoiled something, I'm so sorry. You need to go watch the show. I will wait. Here, go ahead and go watch it. We'll wait.
Finish.
And we're back. So glad you enjoyed it. Okay, so here's the thing. They're not buddies yet. They're not friends yet. They're just tolerating. I'm just wondering, as I look at this, and maybe I read more into it just because the episode's lacking in a lot of ways. I'm just trying to find some subtext that's interesting. And frankly, it's pretty sad that this B story is the most interesting part of this episode, frankly. But the B story being these two playing racquetball. Do you think that Julian was just lonely, too? And he wanted a friend?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yes. I mean, that would explain a lot of his relationship with Garrick. Of course, there's the intrigue there, but certainly he enjoys the conversation, and without it, all he can do is pine for Dax.
Yeah, and being the ship's physician, or the station's physician, it's got to be an uncomfortable thing because I just think about this like, okay, you were in the military, right?
Yes.
You were not a physician, right?
I was not.
Okay, but
I played one on TV.
Well, yes, you did quite well. But I just wonder, though, like, if you're on base, I just wonder if, like, the base physician, since he has to treat most of the people on base, if he found it easy to socialize with them also.
It would probably be with other
physicians.
Doctors. I mean, yeah. And for me, I was an officer, a low-ranking officer, but an officer nonetheless. My staff, I wouldn't hang out with them off duty hours. I can certainly understand that. And if it's a remote outpost, that just enhances it even more.
Great. Okay. Sorry for the little detour. Just wanted to kind of throw that in there. So we're back to they're going to play each other. Miles comes home frustrated to Keiko, and he says, "Shut your cake hole." I'm upset. No, he doesn't say that. Sorry. I haven't done a shut your cake hole in a while, so I thought I did. But he comes home, and he's complaining about this young whippersnapper, who's invading his game, but then he's also, add insult to injury, besides the fact that Julian is better at it, Julian's young.
Right.
And speaking as a middle-aged man, I can tell you, I hate young people now. I just ran that. A few weeks ago, I ran the half marathon, right? And I did just fine. I finished. I didn't die. I did better than, out of the 3 times I've run one, I did better than the first time. Okay, I didn't do as well as my personal best, but that's another story. But you know what? I found myself hating the young people who were passing me up. And just for a second, I don't mean like, I want to kill them. Just I watch them go. Or I have my friends who are younger than me who had better times, and I'm just like, I don't hate them, but I resent them a little. I resent them their youth. And it's not their fault.
Right.
It's normal human nature, I think. Don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw just a week ago someone ran I think it was the London Marathon in a Big Ben outfit and finished in 3.5 hours, which is, I couldn't do a half in that right now. So
yeah.
So anyway, it was so yes, I certainly understand. And now, 30 years since the airing of this show, I connect a lot better with Miles. Whereas the original airing, I would connect more with
Julian. Yeah, because again, you're and especially you were a very high achieving dude. I don't want to embarrass you, but you were college valedictorian. You were high school. Weren't you a high school valedictorian or something like that?
No.
Well, you were college valedictorian. I know that, and I hated you. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. I mean, I was proud of you as your friend, but it was not something I aspired to. But I'm just saying it's a huge deal. So you had all these things going for you, and you're doing all these things, and it's. But yeah, now the shoe's on the other foot, and you're like
Wunderkind.
You're no longer the Wunderkind. You're the Wiener Schnitzel.
Yes.
The old wrinkled Wiener Schnitzel.
Yes.
I'm just teasing. You're not a Wiener Schnitzel. I am.
Yeah.
I was just today having lunch with some colleagues from another agency, and we were talking about, when social media influencers age out, it's not a good look. It's kind of sad. Like these young people who've got these Instagrams, they age out of their platform and all these things. So it's just interesting to watch that played out here with these beloved characters. So I think that is such a far more interesting story. And you know what?
I mean, let's talk the science of this. There is no effort whatsoever to explain how, and they actually intentionally don't explain. They explain at one point the effects, saying that neutrinos, 80% of the neutrinos are going one way and not the other way.
Right.
But there is no attempt whatsoever to explain how that could change universal probability. So that just left me. It left all viewers kind of hanging out there. It's like, okay, how does it work? And can you weaponize it? What can you do with this thing? Instead, they just destroy it. Looping back just a little bit,
sure.
Quark, being the rival of Mazur,
right,
tries to put on a gambling event of the rematch of Miles and Julian. And so he hypes it up. He's their hype man. It's all being broadcast in Quark's bar, and this thing's going so wacky now. It's gone the opposite way. So every hit that Miles makes is a winner. Everything that could possibly go wrong for Julian is going wrong. His rack is breaking. Every bounce is going against him.
Right.
Miles shuts off the camera. So, and they just determined that if I were them, I would assume that Quark had rigged the game.
Right.
Because he had tried to earlier, but they decide either not to finish or not to broadcast the finish of that game.
Right.
They figure out that it's these giant versions of these lucky 8 balls.
Right. That they replicated, yeah.
And they promptly destroyed the 4 giant ones.
Right.
And then Mazurus is now back to his run of bad luck, where the people who dropped charges are now pressing charges again. The woman he thought he was conning at the beginning of the episode was a con artist herself and took all of his money. Right. Kind of the game's over for Mazur. We all go on about our happy way with no luck machines.
I'll give you some quick thoughts on my part, and then let you, and then we'll do Latinum and move on.
That's it.
This was another attempt at trying to be a lighthearted, fun episode. I think there's some moments here and there. There's a lot of derision heaped when you read up on this on Chris Sarandon, the guest actor. This is an Academy Award nominated actor. Dog Day Afternoon. Golden Globe nominated. He's also beloved by many for appearing as Prince Humperdinck in The Princess Bride. He's in that.
Okay, yes.
He's also Jerry Dandridge in one of my all-time favorite horror movies, Fright Night. Ex-husband of Susan Sarandon, which guy deserves a medal. So I mean, he's a talented guy, but I can fault his performance is a little subdued. I think unfortunately this was should have been a tour de force for Armin Shimmerman's Quark, and I think he was giving it all he had, Captain. But Sarandon didn't provide much of a foil for him, and it's not all Sarandon's fault. In my opinion, the writing is just not there. There's something off about it. I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of like pieces here that are kind of tasty and nice, but when you put them all together, it's not a very palatable entree. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like you kind of phoned it in.
Yeah.
I mean, even the first scene, the writing was so it was so predictable. It was like I immediately knew, yeah, she is it's like a scene from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It's like I absolutely know she's a grifter too.
Yeah,
and it's going to come back to haunt him.
And he's not as charming as Michael Caine, and you know, it's just, it doesn't work. So yeah, I'm with you. I thought that the B story with Julian and Miles was good. It's another one of those building of the characters. I think looking back, if you kind of retcon what you know, if you've seen the whole series back into this one, it's kind of nice to watch, as if they knew that. They didn't, but it's an easy way to retcon that in there. So that's good stuff. But I'll just tell you, it's part of this valley we've been talking about the past few episodes that they're stuck in, and praying they're going to get out of soon. So I'm going to go ahead and portion out my lucky latinum for this unlucky episode about luck. And that's the other thing too, is they really just, as you said, did not have a satisfying understanding or explanation for how this worked, and it was just stupid.
Yeah. And if they didn't understand, you would think they would hang on to one, or maybe the original small one to deconstruct it.
But
no, just go on about your business.
Yeah,
let me just blow this.
We're gonna zap this thing, and
maybe it was the touch thing that the gods did in the original Shazam cartoon. That's what the device was.
Oh yeah.
that's where they got it.
And they were the animated folks in that show.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Yeah. And you know, Adam West did one of the voices.
He did. He was one of the gods. Yeah. I didn't know that.
So
okay, so Latinum. Sorry,
I'm just gonna, and maybe this episode's gonna be suffering because I'm having average episode fatigue. But 2 bars, that's it.
I'm right there with you.
2 bars. Here we go again.
I'm like, maybe one slip for the kids who need blankets, and that's about it.
You're a charitable man. I'm not that charitable.
Yeah.
I'll bet you though on Miles or Julian winning on that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just scratching my head and just struggling to say, okay, is there any redeeming? Is there something that we learn about the characters that later on down the road? I mean, nothing for me.
Well, they're building. I think they're building Julian and Miles.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
The bonding of these two.
Yes.
That's what I was talking about a few minutes ago. But
but
your point is okay. So we're not there. With it. So what did you think? We'd love to know what you think. Again, you can email us at audioumox@gmail.com. Send us a sound file that you can record, especially if you got an iPhone. Just use your little memo and then hit the little arrow and send it to us. Or you can go, as usual, to the link on the Facebook page and talk about it there. We love it when you guys do that. And there are some people starting to do that more and more. We love that. Before we go, looking into next week. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that I do know this. I'm looking ahead to next week's episode, and I kind of remember kind of liking it. And I'll tell you one little secret, one little hint is it's an Odo-centric episode. So take that. Okay. So far, Odo episodes are pretty darn good. So in my opinion. So I think that's what it's going to be. And that's what's going to happen next week, next Thursday, when we will be talking about the alternate.
Very good. Very good. Well, I look forward to it. As always, look forward to seeing you again. Until then, the docking ring is closed.